Let's get it on. What's up, y'all? Thank you for joining us on this lovely Wednesday evening. I'm here with, like, honestly, truly, two of my favorite people on social media, man. I love these guys. First up, Wole, man, my boy, Urban Sports Scene, Empire Media, Fox Sports 1340 AM. We just talk about your hustle offline, man. Your hustle, always hustling out there.
Always grinding, man. Always grinding, man. It's a pleasure to be on, man. It's a pleasure to be on.
Of course. Hopefully you're doing well. Also, my guy, Adam Aniba, one of the first people I met on social media a couple of years ago. He's always grinding, small school evals, weekly reports on Burgundy and Gold Report. His own YouTube channel has a great Facebook following as well. Adam, how you doing today, bro?
I'm great, man. Do as many shows as I used to. I always told you, because it's just like I said, it's just like so much work just to put stuff on Ocean. To me, the writing is the fun part, but like the promotion, the YouTube shows. So it's like up with like people who are like the same, that haven't changed over the last 3-4 years. I appreciate it.
100%, man. All good people right there. So it's good to see you all. So this is week, we're going to week 10, believe it or not, guys. The football season's flying. We're more than halfway through the season. This is kind of where the real teams kind of rise to the top and the bad teams kind of fall to the bottom. Washington's right there in the middle. Washington's sitting there at 4-5. We had a pretty bad loss. I was there. I saw it in person. We lost 17-20 to the Vikings. Well, it was start off with you, man. Like, what do you think? What's the state of affairs for Washington? How do you take it? Like, is this kind of where you expected there to be?
I expected to be better, to be honest with you. But if I have to go off of it, it's the same old, right? Within this regime, it's the same things. Inconsistency, offensively inept, not consistent, not able to sustain drives. Defense flashes. Year one, this defense was a top 5 defense. Year 2, it went backwards. Year 3, it looks like it's back to being like that defense we saw in year 1. So in terms of what we've seen with the Rivera regime, I would say it's about the same old.
Same old. Adam, what about you, man? How do you feel about the team so far this year?
It's great to see the defense, kind of curls a big reason that is. And I'm excited to see what Chase Young brings, because he's going to come and just light it up. But what he's going to do is he's going to draw a lot of attention. And I'm still waiting for Sweat to have, flashes. But I'm waiting for him just to have that game, So I think with Chase Young, but the offense, man, you know what I mean? Like, it's fans, it's comical sometimes about the Taylor Heinicke train. And we've seen how far he can get this team. And, we'll talk about it in a little bit. I think this Philadelphia game, to me, that's it. If he can come out and it's not the defense and he can win this game, that would be huge. But I don't see it right now, and make some kind of change on offense, because Turner, he's a major problem. They need somebody to bring a spark. Is it a rookie that can bring the spark? And Sam Howell's a guy I've been watching since 2009. Any other quarterback that's in the league right now. So I think, besides what we're hearing, this and that, I think that's like a lot of just sheep, jumping on the same idea. The kid's a gamer. I need a spark right now. And the way the defense is going, they're basically wasting the defense's performance. That's where I'm at.
That's a great point. We'll definitely talk about that later on in the show as well. Our defense has definitely risen to the occasion. We have been pretty, borderline elite over the past couple of weeks, and we'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah.
One thing that I was kind of thinking about, just daydreaming, driving around the city, man, is like, what is the identity of our team? Like, that's kind of like where we're at. Like, well, like, after 9 games, like, how would you describe Washington? If someone's like, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses? Like, what's your identity? How would you break it down, Wole?
If I would have to break this team down, I think Adam kind of talked about is the defense. I think the defense is the defensive identity. You got to lean on it. If you don't have the guns offensively, what I mean by that, they got the tools, right? They got offensive talent. So let's not go that route. But if you don't have the offense in terms of a whole to get points, then you got to lean on this defense. And you got to have that identity. That identity. Know what, we're going to lean on this defense. We're going to play that ball possession game. Defenses teams that we've seen in the past. The Tennessee Titans, I'll say the Tennessee Titans went into Kansas City, high-powered Kansas City with Pat Mahomes, and ran the ball basically throughout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like their quarterback was unable to throw the football, and that's their identity. So when you think of the Tennessee Titans, their identity is to run the football, play solid defense. Washington has a solid defense. They got 2 running backs that are capable of helping you out. So to me, when I look at that situation where that should be your identity, but at the same time, if we're looking at it for what it is, they don't really have an identity. That's the problem. They don't have an identity. But if me and you looked at this team and we had to break it down and we're like, what should this team be? What should the identity of this team be? It's easy, but how they play it, it's like, okay, prime example in the game against the Minnesota Vikings, it's 4th and 1. You run a play action bootleg for 1 yard. It's basically a half a yard, but the down prior, Brian Robinson showed you that he toughed it out just to get you that 2 yards. He was stopped in the backfield and got you 2 yards just out of sheer will. Now, if you were a coach that's trying to teach toughness, say that toughness is our identity, you don't you don't finesse it. You just say, you know what, this is my best play, stop it. That should be your identity. But unfortunately, this team, they're still trying to figure it out. But my issue is it should be easy to figure out.
I agree 100%. And for those of you that are listening on audio, or you guys kind of like, driving around and don't really see the graphic in front of us, basically it's crazy, right? So I'd say, Adam, I don't know if you agree to this or not, but I'd say Washington's proposed identity is to be like a run first team and play some good defense, right? If you look at our stats right here, it doesn't tell that tale, right? You look at the rushing attempts, 4.1 yards per attempt is ranked 25th in the league. I'd say our offensive, our run game hasn't really been that effective at all. We have been playing pretty good defense. Altogether, we have the 14th ranked defense, and that's including that big Eagles game earlier in the year and the Lions game earlier in the year, starting to kind of rectify and kind of find more level. Our rush defense is actually pretty solid. We actually have the 11th best rush defense in the league, and we only have 2 rushing touchdowns allowed. Sorry, 4 rushing touchdowns allowed, which is second in the league. But it's kind of piggybacking on that. Adam, I'll throw it over to you. We've only had 4 rushing touchdowns all year long, and we're the 25th rushing offense altogether in regard to yards per attempt. So, like, what would you say our identity is, or do you think we're still lost, not found?
Well, he brought up a perfect example, which in New York. So I'll give you another one. The Jets, they know what they have. They don't. Zach Wilson, a high draft pick. They're not dropping him back in situations like Turner is. They're running their running backs where they do. They just keep doing it. And I think when you have a guy like Taylor become a running team, you start with going some more RPOs with him. I hear people say it's actually the other way around. RPO actually can preserve your quarterback. Your quarterback's going to be moving. There's a lot more moving, but it's not going to hurt him. You know what I mean? Unless he's holding the ball more than 50% of the time. Have at least 5-6 design runs a game. That's what we're talking about here. Especially when we get in the red 3rd and short situations and you've got him in shotgun. You've got, you've got to make up 5 yards. And I think that some teams can get away with doing it with their offensive lines that are, superior. But the best way to get them going is moving forward. I don't claim to be an O-line guru, but I'm all school, college level, and they all tell me the same thing. The best way to help your offensive line is run the ball. Where they're going backwards, they're pushing the quarterback, which we've seen so many times, especially with. So what do? You run the ball, you go forward. But Turner, he just continues to try to be cute, checkers with everyone else out there playing chess. And I think right now, regardless of who needs to adjust to what he's got, to what he's doing, because continuing to 5-step drop back, action his QB to read the field, that's not his strength. His strength is backyard ball. Just keep it moving. And if you want to do that, you establish the run. You'll set up play action. But every time he's trying to do that, the defense is ready for it. He's just completely predictable. I'm a broken record, but look what happens when you get him out in space as a receiver. He's hardly fast. So you have him and Robinson in the game as much as possible. When McKissick comes back, then mix it up that way. But Turner, he's the primary problem